Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you, Ronke Posh. Thank you for joining me. Good to have you on board today. Okay, so for those who will be watching the replay, will be joining later, who have not met me before, my name is Pauline Limen. I'm the founder of Star Riches Community Initiative. It's a Manchester-based charity. We work across Greater Manchester, and our reach extends to all the parts of the world through Facebook, through social media, obviously. But we are based in the United Kingdom, and it's a pleasure for us to be here today. Hello, Olayinka. Thank you for joining. And our mission really as a charity is to raise aspirations for Black children in education and break the cycle of Black people underachievement in education, as well as promote the well-being of African and BME or migrant children and their families. And we are big on this because reports come in year out about our children underachieving, not doing well in school, our children going into prison, going into care. So there are a lot of issues surrounding the well-being and the eventual future outcomes of our children. And that is why as the founder of the organization, I'm really very passionate about supporting our community, empowering parents to be able to be, strategically and effectively involved in their children's education, as well as the positive parenting skills that will play a massive role in helping us to raise well-balanced, well-rounded children within the society in which we find ourselves. So in today's live stream, we're going to be discussing an issue that I think is really crucial. So we're going to be talking about why we need to get involved in our children's schools and how we can get involved in our children's schools. Now, when we hear about unlawful pupil exclusions, I've had to deal with lots of parents whose children have been excluded or have been sent to PRU, which stands for Pupil Referral Unit, due to poor behavior and that kind of thing. And a lot of those parents have found themselves in a very helpless situation, because when they have had to appeal and, to the chair of governors, obviously they're singing from the same hymn book with the schools. When they've had to appeal, they felt very frustrated because they haven't had their voices heard, or they felt that nobody actually listened or paid attention to their point of view. So, sorry. So that is why I think it is really important for us to get involved in our children's schools. Also within the school, the UK school system, there aren't many Black and minority ethnic teachers. Is the schools a lot of our children go to do not have any Black teachers. There's no Black teacher, for example, in my children's schools, and in many schools across the UK. There are a lot more down in London, but in the north and in other parts of the UK, there are lots of schools without a single Black teacher. And having a Black teacher makes so much of a difference within the school. The teacher serves as a role model. Unfortunately, a lot of the people, the Black people that children see around schools are either cleaners or they are dinner ladies and that kind of thing. And so it kind of limits them. It's trying to make them feel that is the sort of job that Black people should be doing. So I think it's really important for us to start. It's high time we start to get involved in our children's schools. Now, when you get involved in your child's school, it shows your child that you are interested in their school. Remember, one of the ways in which we can help our children value education is by getting interested. So when your child sees you on the corridor, maybe helping out in one way or doing something within the school. They know that you are interested in this, in their school. They know that you value the things that happen within the school. Also, when you get involved within the school, you understand the school system better. A lot of parents, unfortunately, within the community, come into a country like the United Kingdom, for example, and they don't really stretch themselves to find out how the educational system works. Okay, you don't know the types of schools, you don't know what affects the quality of the education your child receives, you don't know the opportunities that are out there for your child, because a lot of people don't really go out of their way to find out that information. So by getting involved in your child's school, you will understand better eventually how schools work, or the structure of the school system. You'll understand better how schools are run. And as you are involved, as you get into it, you will be able to spot areas that you think, might need improvement areas, that you can actually, as a parent, make your own contribution to ensure that those issues are dealt with. Vanessa says it also shows the school that you're interested in the welfare system of the school. Absolutely, I fully agree with you on that, Vanessa. So we're kind of talking about the same thing here. Also, and your voice can be heard. That is right. Absolutely, Vanessa. Thank you for those valid points that you're making. So when you get involved also in your child's school, it helps you to understand how to support your child better. Okay, so if you go into a classroom, for example, and you are helping maybe a group of children, or you're just working on a voluntary basis as a teaching assistant, you start to understand, the things that are important, the things that you need to stress on. Maybe it could be handwriting, it could be phonics, excuse me. It could be reading fluently, reading with expression. It could be, basic skills in terms of in math skills, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, learning their times table. So it really helps you to understand the school system. And I believe that it really did help me to understand, being a teacher for 13 years in this country did help me to understand how to support my children. And that is how I was able to intervene in my children's life from the onset. They were going to a state school at that time, and we home tutor them as if they were not learning in school. And that is how we were able to raise their attainment. So getting involved really is important. And when you get involved in your child's school, it helps you also to build relationship with staff, to build relationship with the teachers, with, all the staff around the school, the senior management staff, the teachers. And when you have an issue of concern, they are more open to listen to you. Because that road is open, there's an open access for you to be able to go in and talk to them, obviously in a nice and constructive way, about the things, the issues that you think need to be changed. Now, let's take for example, the issue of low attainment, okay, within inner city schools in deprived areas. Now, we know that the standard of education in those schools is not the same as the standard of education within selective schools. Now, how can you, as a parent who is involved in your child's school, do? You can make suggestions to the head teacher about what we can do to raise aspiration, about what we can do to support the parents to be able to ensure that they are supporting their children at home so that they do well in school. You can be able to get the staff to know how to support the parents of a child who has got behavioral issues and that kind of thing. Because sometimes as parents, we have issues with our kids and we need help. But sometimes there is no help because we don't even know where to get the help from. So those are some of the reasons why we need to get involved. We need to get, have our voices heard. We need to get, into those positions. So what are the different ways in which you can get involved? Now, one of the ways in which you can get involved as a parent is by becoming a parent governor. And by becoming a parent governor, you can get involved in the decision-making process of your child's schools. Now, when a position comes up, letters are sent home and people are encouraged to stand in for parent governor. Unfortunately, a lot of us just pick up these letters and just put them in the recycle bin. We don't even look at these letters. It's really important that we look at these letters, that we step out of our comfort zone. Now, if we are complaining that the system is biased, if we are complaining that people are making decisions regarding our children that are unfair, they are excluding your child, sending them to the pupil referral unit because they are poorly behaved. If we are complaining about this, we are not even amongst the people that can have a voice in this final decision. So we can't complain and do nothing about it. I think it's high time for us to step out of our comfort zone and get into these roles, get involved in our children's schools. If you need support, Star Reaches Community Initiative is there to support you. And I'd like anyone that is watching today, if you are a parent governor in your child's school, I would like you to inbox me personally. We're trying to work with this, with the few parent governors we have, to see how we can strategically get involved and raise attainment for our children within inner city schools. You have power, when you step into that role, with wisdom and, with your own knowledge and understanding that you develop about the school system, you can have your own voice. So please, let's not shy away. You don't need to be very educated. You just need to be passionate about, things going right within the school system, within your child's school. So you don't need to be very educated. You just need to be, I believe that you need to be confident. Yes, to take on that role, you need to believe and have a vision and a purpose of why you're going into it. But please, let's not shy away. We want to see more and more people becoming parent governors. I'm going to just tell you this brief story. There's someone I know who's a parent governor of a school, an inner city school that I spoke to recently, and she told me how a child was about to be excluded for stealing. And apparently, when that child's parent, dad, was informed, they reacted like a good African, very, very defensive and, really, really passionate. And school felt they were aggressive. Now, because this parent governor was an African, she was able to explain to the chair of governors, that parent's position, why they are thinking that way, why they are passionate about it. And they were able to look at a different strategy to approach that parent so that the parent could cooperate with the school to deal with the issue. Now, that is a positive way in which a parent governor can influence. Now, without that, that child could have been excluded, and that would affect the child's outcome. So what we're talking about here is, let's step out of our comfort zone and let's get on into the educational system. Let's have our voices heard. Now, let's look at something like Black History Month. Now, Black History Month is going, and in a lot of schools, nothing is mentioned about it. Everything else is celebrated. Christmas, Halloween is celebrated. All sort of other things are dealt with. But our children don't feel, for a sense of, to have our children have a sense of identity. It's really important that they are able to have all these positive role models within the Black community in Black History Month highlighted. In schools where it's even mentioned, they talk about slave history. Now, slave history is just part of Black history, but there are lots of Black people that have impacted the society, that have impacted the world. And these are the sort of things that children should be exposed to, because a lot of the children that our children are friends with, have a negative mindset of the Black person. Now, one of my daughter's friends told her in a conversation that white people have contributed this to the world, Asians have contributed in this way, but Black people haven't contributed anything to the world. Now, that was a major concern for me, and I had to take my daughter through us talking about the contributions of Black, people. Now, when other people get to understand that the Black history doesn't limit itself to slavery, but that Black people have all actually made valuable contribution to society, then the children start to feel proud of themselves. They start to have a sense of identity. So these are the sort of things that when we are involved in school, we could say, even as a group of Black parents, it's Black History Month, can we come and do something? Can we come and showcase something? But you need to take that step to actually go into the school and do it. But if you are already involved in the school in one way or the other, then it's going to be easy to really access the head teacher or the senior member of staff or even your child's class teacher to present that idea to them. So I would like to implore everyone watching today, if you are a parent governor, please inbox me at some point, maybe after this show. Secondly, the second way you can get involved is attend PTA meetings. Now, what do Parents Teacher Association members do? They help to organize school events. It could be a school fair, it could be fundraising events, it could be a school barbecue. Schools have lots of different activities that they organize, and usually members of the Parent Teacher Association work together to organize this event. So that is a really valuable way in which you can start to get known. Your contribution can be valid. The world values people who make a contribution. If you make a contribution, your voice will be heard. If you do not make a contribution but you're complaining, then unfortunately your voice will not be heard. Can I have people contributing? Let me know what you think about this. And let's just have these conversations going, please. Another way in which you can be involved, thirdly, is by attending a parent forum. So some schools have what is called a parent forum, and it's simply a forum whereby parents attend and in the presence of some senior member of staff, and they're just talking about issues to do with the school, how it is run, some concerns. It's an opportunity for parents to find out, why things are done in a certain way or why certain things are not done. So it's an opportunity for parents to have their voices heard. Now, unfortunately, again, within the community, a lot of us just ignore all these things. Parent forum, well, it's a waste of time. It's another evening gone. But these openings, these forums are an opportunity for you as a parent to air your views, to have your voice heard. So let's stop shying away and complaining. We can't complain if we are not going to be proactive and we are not going to decide to move out of our comfort zone. Okay, Vanessa says, I try as much as possible to avoid using color to describe ethnicity, rather use race such as African, British, Caribbean, British, Caucasian, Indian, etc. Okay, Vanessa, that's fine. That's a valid point you're making. Yes, but media describes us as Black, so I do see where you're coming from. When they're talking about like the report that came out last week, they talk about, they use the word Black. So that is the word that is being used. But obviously I do understand where you are coming from. So that is the third way. The fourth way that I have down here in which you can be involved in your child's school is to volunteer a few hours or a few days a week, and you could get involved with things like fair. So if they're putting up a fair, you could go and man one of the stands and that kind of thing. You could become, you could offer your services as a classroom assistant to work with one or two children or a small group of children, maybe helping them with reading or helping them with their maths work, or you could, volunteer to go with children on a trip. That works really well, especially in primary school. So there's always that opportunity. They need people, they need more adult hands to be able to manage the children when they're out on a trip. Now, I want to say to you, you don't have to be a qualified teacher to be able to offer, to volunteer, as a classroom. You might not be a classroom assistant. You might not be fully, you might not be part of the school staff. You might not be recruited by the school. You could just go in as a volunteer, and that is a valuable way for you to give back to the community, to show your child that you value the school, to show the staff that you value what happens within the school setting. And that way, when issues arise, when there are concerns, they know that you're part of them. There will be a more open ground or open door of opportunity for you to be able to talk about issues of concerns and make suggestions about how we can change things to make things work for our children. So I've shared 4 things here, 4 ways in which we can get involved. If there's anything else that you want to share with us, any other way that you have been involved in your child's school, please share it there so all parents can learn from one another. So I'm going to share the 4 again as we get close to the end of this session. You can become a parent governor. You can attend PTA meetings. You can be part of the parent forum. You can volunteer a few hours or a few days a week to actually get involved in one way or the other in your child's school. If you are interested, it's just a question of going and talking to the teacher. Okay, I've had to do, workshops within my children's schools just by going to talk to the head teacher about what I do, and they've had me come in to do workshops within the school. So they are very open. They like it when parents actually come in and support and offer their skills, giving back to the community. So I'm excited also to say that I've got on Monday a live workshop for children in secondary school. It's going to be focusing more on preparing children for mock exams. Okay, mock exams are really important because they help your child to study hard and see how well they would do in a real exam setting. And in a lot of cases, this data is used by the teacher to make predictions for your child. So it's really important that your child is adequately prepared for their mock exams. For those doing A-levels, it's even more important because these predictions are sent off to UCAS, and that is the basis upon which UCAS decides to or some universities decide to either give your child a conditional or an unconditional offer of admission. So it's important that our children prepare adequately for these exams. I'm going to put a link on the Star Richards Community Initiative page. You can log on and register your child on Eventbrite for this workshop. It's going to happen on Monday. It's going to help your child to effectively use the time during the half term to prepare for their exams, as well as strategies that they will use for the rest of the school year to help them to be adequately prepared for their exams. Now, I tell you from experience, a lot of children are not achieving their full potential, are not achieving top grades in exams, not because they don't have the ability, but it's because of an issue with having the right strategy for revision, especially now that children will be doing, or students will be doing, the new style GCSEs in June 2018, where they'll be sitting 2 years worth of content in June, whereas in the past it used to be modular. It was a lot easier for children to handle. Now there's a lot of content for children to handle. So it's important that children have the right strategy. And I'm going to be working with these students, or the students who register, on Monday. So if you've got a child in year 11, in lower 6, in upper 6, please register them. It's going to be valuable as well for all students in secondary school. So I'm going to put that there. Now, if you've not liked this page, please like our page, Star Richards Community Initiative. Please like it so that when I post things or I come up live, you can actually receive notifications. I'm also really excited about an event coming up on Saturday, which is a Mothers and Daughters event, which I've been advertising. It promises to be great. If you're based in Manchester, you can still register to attend it. We're going to be really having lots of fun and encouraging mothers and daughters to, have a better relationship, because mothers are meant to have the greatest influence upon their daughters. But if the relationship is broken down, then that becomes a problem. So that is a bit of a hint about what's going to happen on Saturday. So if you're based in Manchester and you have a teenage daughter, you are very welcome to attend. Okay, if there aren't any questions or comments, I will have to end here. Please let me know whether you found this helpful. Please let me know whether you're going to have convinced you enough to get involved in your child's school. And I look forward to the personal messages from those amongst you now here who are either a parent governor or are very much involved in their children's school in one way or the other. Okay. I'm going to have to end here. You have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a wonderful half-term holiday next week. God bless. Bye-bye.